Last month, the missile that sank a warship off Luzon was not American. It was Japanese, fired by Japanese troops standing on Philippine soil, and Japan keeps no base in the country. Every headline filed it as a United States military exercise with allied guests. The cameras found American ships and American generals. The most important thing on that coastline was none of it. It was a stack of signatures almost nobody read. Strip the spectacle off, and here is what the Philippines actually is now. One country, wired so that several foreign militaries can operate from it, legally, on standing rights. The exercise everyone watched is called Balikatan. The word Balikatan is a Tagalog term that translates to shoulder to shoulder. The 2026 run went from the 20th of April to the 8th of May. 17,000 troops, 7 countries, Japan, Canada, France, and New Zealand in the order of battle as full participants for the first time, not guests in the stands. All of that is the surface. A drill does not turn a country into a launch platform. The papers signed before the drill do. Watch the paperwork, not the spectacle. On the 11th of September, 2025, a single agreement handed Japan the same class of legal standing the United States had held in the Philippines for decades. That is what put the launcher in the dunes, not memory. The coverage reached for the past. First Japanese troops back since the war. About 1,400 Japanese personnel deployed for Balikatan 2026, around 70 of them on the launcher itself. And yes, it was the first time Japanese combat troops had operated on Philippine soil since 1945. True, and beside the point, a foreign army does not earn the right to fire live munitions across another nation's coastline out of sentiment. It earns it from a ratified document. The Japan-Philippines Reciprocal Access Agreement defines how Japanese forces enter, stay, and operate in the country. The same kind of instrument Washington holds through its Visiting Forces Agreement. 5 months later, the two governments signed a second paper to swap fuel, ammunition, and food tax free, an acquisition and cross-servicing agreement. The Reciprocal Access Agreement is the reason the firing was legal. The servicing deal is the reason the next one is cheap. What Japan came back for was never the anniversary. It was a key to the building, cut and dated. Everyone agrees on one thing about the Philippines. Its constitution bans foreign military bases, so foreign troops can only drop in for a drill and then leave. The ban is real. The conclusion is wrong. 9 sites across the country sit under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, which the Philippine Supreme Court upheld in 2016 as an executive agreement rather than a treaty. The route that let it skip the Senate. At all 9, the United States holds the right to build, store, and operate fuel storage, runways, warehouses, not a parking spot for a weekend. In July 2025, the Philippine military activated all 9 at once for storm response. The cleanest proof available that they are live, supplied infrastructure, and not lines in a contract. 4 of the 9 are recent, pushed deliberately north and west into places like Naval Base Camilo Osias and Lalo in Cagayan and Camp Melchor de la Cruz in Isabela. Picture 9 doors cut into one country, already built and already stocked, and ask who holds the keys. Then ask why 4 of them were cut in the window when China started tightening around Taiwan. The picture to throw out is the visitor who trains and goes home. The buildings never check out. In August 2024, a Philippine frigate and a Japanese destroyer ran a joint patrol through the West Philippine Sea, finished their drills, and went home. No American ship in the formation, no American command in the loop. They have repeated it since. That single sail killed a model most people still run. In that model, the United States is the hub. Every ally is a spoke, and a spoke only moves when it routes through Washington. Japan and the Philippines operating alone in contested water is not supposed to be possible inside it. It happened, and both governments logged it as their access agreement going to work. Australia has held its own visiting forces arrangement with the Philippines since 2012. Canada is negotiating 1. Counting only ratified, standing access, 3 foreign militaries can now operate from Philippine soil, the United States, Japan, and Australia, with Canada working to become the 4th. The belief to bury is that pulling the United States out would collapse the whole structure. It already runs on more than one engine. These sites are just scattered around the country for training. Look at where they actually sit. This part is reading, not reporting. The northern cluster, the newer sites in Cagayan, sits on the approaches to the Bashi Channel and the Luzon Strait, the water gap between Taiwan and the southern islands of Japan. The western sites, Antonio Bautista and Balabac in Palawan, sit on the approaches to the Spratly Islands and the South China Sea. 2 arcs. One faces a Taiwan contingency. One faces the South China Sea. A country does not place its newest foreign accessible facilities on precisely the 2 most most dangerous choke points in the region by coincidence. What stops being credible is the idea that the location of these sites is a logistics footnote. The placement is the message. The intuitive read is that no permanent bases means no permanent presence. The operational reality is that rotation does the same job under a softer word. Forces rotate in and out on deployments that renew without end. The equipment stays. The fuel stays. The agreements that authorize them carry no expiry that bites. Foreign troops, foreign weapons, and foreign ammunition stand in the country continuously, and not one permanent base exists on paper. The entire constitutional wall is cleared by a single adjective, rotational. Call the presence rotational, and the ban is satisfied, while the thing a base does, hold troops and weapons and a place to fire them from, arrives in full. The servicing agreement is what makes the rotation indefinitely repeatable, because resupply no longer waits on a fresh arrangement each time. If you value calm, in-depth explanations like this, subscribe to Beneath Systems for more videos that uncover the systems shaping our world. Drop the test you have been using. Counting permanent bases tells you nothing about how much foreign force is standing on the ground. Every layer so far reads like the Philippines winning. More access, more partners, more deterrence. Turn the contract over. Hold this as analysis, because that is what it is. Every military invited onto the soil with standing rights is also a wire running back to that military's enemies. A confrontation between a Philippine and a Japanese patrol in contested water stops being a quarrel between two countries. It can pull United States defense commitments to both Manila and Tokyo into the same moment. An attack on one of the 9 sites does not read as a strike on a Philippine building. It reads as a strike on United States assets, because American forces operate there. The country is now wired into the East China Sea, a fight it holds no claim in. Access and exposure are the same purchase. You do not get to buy one without the other. The comfortable belief to give up is that every new partner is one more layer of insurance. Each is also a thread that can pull the country into a war it never chose. Step back and the machine is visible. The missile, the ships, the troop counts. Those are the moving parts you are shown. The machine is a stack of paper. A reciprocal access agreement with Japan, a visiting forces arrangement with Australia, standing site agreements with the United States, a servicing deal for fuel and ammunition. Each one is dull on its own. Together they are a country reorganized into something several governments can launch from, and that keeps running when no single American gives the order. Hardware is a snapshot of 1 week. A ratified agreement is a standing right that pays out for years. The carrier sails away. The signature does not. The loudest thing that happened off Luzon was a missile. It was not the most important. The most important thing was a date in September, when a document took effect and quietly handed a foreign army a right it had not held in 80 years. A nation can be turned into a launch pad without hosting a single foreign base, as long as the papers are signed in the right order. The Philippines is the proof, built in plain sight, one signature at a time. If this video gave you a clearer way to understand the world beneath the surface, subscribe to Beneath Systems for more deep dives every week.